Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Coach's Corner. And today we are focusing on American International College, which is often known as AIC. American International College, or AIC, is located in Springfield, Massachusetts, and it has about 2,100 students in its undergraduate and graduate programs. Culturally, the college emphasizes career mobility and professional success, and it has three main schools: the School of Business, Arts, and Sciences, the School of Education, and the School of Health Sciences. Athletically, they compete as the Yellow Jackets, and they have a highly competitive men's and women's rugby program, or two programs. After winning back-to-back NIRA Division II and Division III national championships, the women's team has recently moved up to the NIRA Division I level, and I will let my guest coach today tell you all about that and their recent accomplishment. The men's team also competes at a very high level and is a regular contender in the NCR Division I arena. The program at AIC is overseen by the Director of Rugby, Jameson Bonti. I am delighted to have Coach Bonti with us today, and welcome.
Hi, Melanie. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's great to have you with us. Can we start by you telling us a little bit about your background, where you came from, and how you found yourself at AIC?
Yeah, thank you. So I have, as many coaches do, they probably have some pretty long journeys. So I'll try and keep it pretty short. But I started playing at a team called Mystic River when I left college and absolutely loved it. I lived in Boston for several years and got to travel quite a bit with Mystic River. Traveled down to North Carolina where I coached and played for a team called NAV. After that, as I oversaw different select sides and touring sides, I really had the opportunity to travel and coach kind of across the world. I've been and coached in Japan for some time, across the United States, and then also spent some time in Ireland as well. So I've really enjoyed my time, got to see the world, and now really the opportunity is for me to give back as much as possible. And this is a tight knit, it's a family environment, it's a family group, and we're looking for ambitious young potential family members to join us.
Great. So that takes me into my next question. Can you tell me a bit about the men's and women's programs at AIC?
Yeah, of course. So AIC men's rugby. So we compete in NCR Division One. So we play against the Liberty Conference teams, whether that's Dartmouth or Brown or Siena, and we compete at a very high level. Our goal is to take that family environment, um, continue to make it as competitive as possible, and create that high performance mixture where you've got that tight knit college community family feel, but you're also competing at the highest level in the country. And so we have a full, with both our men and our women, both programs are fully school funded and fully school supported. So when we travel in a Greyhound bus. If we've got to fly somewhere, AIC pays for our flights, they pay for our hotel rooms, our meals, and any needs that we have. Okay. We have team lift in the varsity weight room 3 days a week, and we have our own medical staff as well. So our AT, her name is Alyssa. Alyssa is sensational. She travels everywhere that we travel. She's a huge piece of our family. We have a rugby specific practice pitch. We also have a separate match pitch that we practice on as well.
Great. And when you say that the teams are fully funded by the university, does does that mean that the uniforms, the players aren't paying for them, or do they have any dues that they have to pay to participate on the team, or is that all covered by the university?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, jerseys, no one has to pay for jerseys or anything like that. And there are no dues either. So, when you're welcomed into the family, when you're a part of our family, as soon as you step on campus, I would really argue before you step on campus, you're immediately part of this community. And our responsibility now, myself, our staff team here, our responsibility is to do our best to take care of you, right? We're looking to provide a home away from home. When I talk with moms or dads, grandma, grandpa, whoever that is, most of the time they're not asking about, just the standard of rugby. They're really asking about the standard of care, the standard of attention to detail. And what we want to do is we want to provide that home away from home type of environment.
With those who are traveling a long way to go to school, be it domestic students or internationals, I think that's a big concern for a lot of families. My kid is leaving, and where are they going to, and what is that new place going to be like? And I think it's so great that within your rugby community, you've got this family atmosphere. How does that start? When do they arrive at campus? What do you have a preseason training? How do they get to know each other? What does that all look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we typically arrive 2 to 3 weeks prior to our first match. So we have about a 21-day run up until our first match. So this year, our players are arriving in August 14th, and our first match is not until the first week of September, to give you an idea. Uh, if you take our women's team as an example, so our women are fresh off an NCR CRC sevens national championship. They just won the Division Two and NIRA national or championship as well, and we're about to move up to D1. So in this coming year, this is a D1 women's program, which is really exciting. To give you an example, right? A lot of what we do here at AIC is player led. And so throughout the year, just as an example, throughout this spring, the women themselves have brought the group together and they have regular team bonding activities or team bonding nights, right? Those are not led by myself. And that's really important to understand when it comes to culture. There are probably good teams that are coach led, maybe great teams that are leadership led, but the best teams in the country, the best teams in the world are player led in general. And so not only is it our leadership group that runs those team bonding evenings, but it's actually just the group as a whole taking up or stepping up and taking ownership of what those nights can look like. And those can look like, myself as a coach, ordering Hot Table or Chick-fil-A, and us putting on a movie in the Hall of Fame, or maybe it's us going somewhere and doing something together, going to the local fair, the Big E, together, or that's us going to watch a movie, or maybe that's us going to a high ropes or a low ropes course together just as an entire team. I might drive the van, I might pay for dinner, but it's actually not me running that type of team bonding environment, which is for me as a coach, that's the goal. That's where every coach wants their team to be. And so, we talk at the end of the year, we've had all these championships, but it really starts with all these small little moments of connection. And that's what's so important to us.
That's great. And you talked a little bit about the women's team coming off of their sevens victory. Could you tell me a little bit more about that? How the season went for the women, how the season went for the men, and what it looks like going forward?
Yeah. This spring was an incredible spring. The women have stepped up in so many different ways. One of the things that we talk about is we talk about seeking out adversity. It's one thing to face adversity. It's another thing entirely to say that I know it's going to be difficult. I'm going to go and attack it head on, right? We have three core pillars going into every weekend, right? First of which is to have fun. We've got to go out there and we've got to have fun. The second is to be bold, be brave, and be a bird. We are here to make bold decisions. And we are here to back ourselves, back the women next to you. And if it doesn't come off the first time, it's going to come off the second time. And we back ourselves to make sure that it's going to come off the second time. And the third of which is we leave the field the way that we entered it, and that's as a family. And those are our three core pillars going into every weekend. And I think, those have been our pillars since August, and those have not changed now as we talk in May, right? Those are key pieces of what we built our community and our environment on. This is a group of bold, of fierce, intelligent women that are strong and they know it. Mhm.
What was it like for obviously the women had this massive victory a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, a week ago. What was the men's experience like this year?
Yeah, the men had a great year of kind of redefining and resetting culture, where we are just fine tuning different pieces of who do we want to be as a community. What type of culture do we want this to be? And I think what's really exciting is when we come in next fall, those lines are set, like those guidelines are drawn, and we have a very clear picture of what we want this community to look like. And the community that we're serving sees that now, and they're also very excited as well. I think something that's really important to note as well is you have your men's team and you've got your women's team, but they're not separate. If you notice, if you notice, if you watch the women's national championship, at the end, all of the men are there. I get regular notes from other coaches, from referees, match officials, administrators about how when we go to these events, the men are the loudest team possible as they support the women, right? The women are always present as they support the men. And so, yes, you have your men's team. Yes, you have your women's team, but we really have a strong rugby community at AIC where there's a lot of love between both the men and the women.
That's great. That's so nice. When you talked earlier, you said that you've got a team lift 3 times a week. What does your week look like for your student athletes? When do they have classes? When do you train? What does the training week look like? And then obviously, when you have games, how far are you traveling? Could you
Mhm.
enlighten me on that?
Yeah. So most classes take place between 8:30 a.m. and 1 p.m. You can grab lunch during that time. We have a tremendous dining commons area. I eat pretty regularly in the dining commons. If that tells you that the food is good, I probably eat there 3 days a week or so. Shout out Cindy, she's the lunch lady. She's awesome. But that does come back to even me just knowing Cindy or Kit Kat or the other staff. We know each other here on the AIC campus, right? We are each other's friends. We are each other's extended family at work. So on Mondays, you'll typically have class from 8:30 to 1, and maybe you'll have two classes, maybe you'll have three classes during that time. You'll grab lunch. uh, at 2 o'clock the men have practice, so the men practice 2 to 4 p.m. The women will practice from 4 to 6 p.m. Okay. Most events take place, most matches take place probably within a 90-minute drive. So we are most of the time, we're not traveling too far. Now, once we get to nationals, once we get to larger events, we'll be traveling, right? Whether that's traveling to Lindenwood University, we go down to Queen's University, whatever that might be, wherever we do travel, AIC has that taken care of. Myself, my staff team, we have all that taken care of. So all the players really have to worry about are our three pillars: having fun, being bold, and leaving and entering as a family. And that's really what each week looks like. Is you'll have classes in the morning, you'll grab some lunch, we have team practice in the afternoon, and then we go grab dinner, and that saves quite a bit of time, in my opinion, for academic support or whatever you might need. If at any point a student athlete reaches out to me and says, hey, I'm having trouble in this class, and I've scheduled a tutor, but the only time that tutor is available is Monday, in the middle of practice time. It is not only myself and my staff encouraging them to go to the tutor, it is their responsibility to make sure that they attend, that they communicate correctly. Academics must be a priority here at AIC. We take that very, very seriously. And the amount of academic support that we provide our student athletes is also something that we take a lot of pride in.
So could you talk a little bit about that? What kind of support is in place at AIC?
Yeah. So we have smaller classroom sizes of probably 14 or 15 teachers per class or students per classroom. And that allows you to have a pretty personal relationship with your professors if you want to. Okay. We also provide academic advisors, just as an example. One of the coaches on staff this year, who's a part-time coach, and because of so many of the great things we're doing, he made sure that he wanted to be on staff. Right. So the men's rugby team, the women's rugby team, we are innately sorry, we are connected with the academic side of staff, the academic side of campus, excuse me, very, very well. So every student athlete is given an academic advisor, right? And those academic advisors are professionals on the academic side of campus that are here to make sure that you, as a student, have everything that you need in order to be academically successful. We also offer tutoring to all of our student athletes. That's 100% free tutoring to all student athletes. And I think just in general, there are a lot of campuses that support their student athletes when the lights are on and the camera is running. What my staff, what AIC as a community, what we take a tremendous amount of pride in is how do we support our student athletes when the lights are off, when the camera is not running, when they are not on the field, right? When we talk about a home away from home, that's actually where it starts. It doesn't start on the field. It starts in the classroom. It starts in your dorm room. It starts in the dining commons. It starts with the community and the relationships that we're here to build. And so we have a lot of academic support on campus, a lot of that structure or scaffolding, and that's important to us.
So, one of the things that often comes up to me is questions about people who are looking, or from people who are looking to go to college and play rugby is, am I ever going to play? So, how big of a roster do you operate on the men's and the women's teams? And what is the likelihood of freshmen getting playing time?
Yeah. So on the men's side, we have about 50 to 53 players on the roster. On the women's side, we have 40 to 42 players on the roster. Just as an example, everyone gets minutes, and sometimes our greatest competition is internal. Sometimes our greatest competition is each other, right? Us as coaches, we are looking at, when we're going live and we're at a scrum, we're looking at how those props handle each other, right? Is there a dominant side, right? Are we wheeling routinely because we have a prop that is just outstripping the other prop, right? Um, when it comes to first side versus second side, so we have a full first side and a full second side. When every time that we go play, say we go play Dartmouth University, okay, when we go play Dartmouth, our first side will play Dartmouth's first side. Immediately afterwards, our second side will play against Dartmouth's second side. And so it is very every time we go play, we travel in a bus, right? We're bringing almost every player. Now, if you notice, if we've got 50 to 53 players on our roster, Melanie, if you've got a first 23 and a second 23, it's only 46 players. So it's still very, very competitive, right? Again, sometimes that the greatest competition is that internal competition. And that's something that we want to foster here, all while doing that within the community. But there are a lot of minutes to be had. Everyone is coached the same way. Everyone is competing for that first side. Selections are made on a week to week to week basis. And so it very much so is. It's the next man, it's the next woman up. That's how we view it.
So, on the women's side of things, have you been impacted by the roster caps that are put in place by the NCAA? Has
Mhm.
that, or are you not at that level of roster where it really impacts you?
That doesn't directly impact us, no. Our roster size is large enough so that what it allows us to do is I work to schedule second side matches as much as possible, and that allows us to see, what does that look like when we go play a side that we might not normally be up against, or you're going to get the minutes that you might not normally get, right? Again, sometimes our greatest competition is internal. So we do have quite a bit of kind of internal struggle or internal battle. And it is very much so on a week to week basis. I am not the coach that has, his starting 15 and it's set the same every single week and I could copy paste, copy paste. If you earn the right, then you've earned the right. And that's exciting for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So, tell me about your international players and their role on the team.
Mhm. We have a strong international community at AIC. Again, that stands for American International College. So at the university, at the college in general, we've got a very strong international community. We have players on the AIC rugby team in our community. We have players from the United States. We have players from Canada, the Bahamas, Argentina, Uruguay, Chile, Brazil. We have players from Ireland, Scotland, England. We have players from France. We have players from New Zealand, South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Australia and Cuba. And that's right. I can never forget. I can't forget about Bahamas or Cuba. But what that really tells you is we have a tremendous amount of diversity in our community, right? In our community as a whole here at AIC, but also in the rugby community specifically. This is an environment where I don't want to tell you what to do. I want to give you options and opportunities for you to express yourself. And that's what some of the best coaches do, right? Is I am not training A plus B equals C. What we train here is A is an option. B is an option. C is an option. Let's talk about the physical characteristics of the opposition. Let's have the situational awareness. Which option is the best option for us right now? Right. And that is one of the reasons why we like to talk with individuals that have different life experiences that come from different backgrounds, right? That diversity doesn't hold us back. Melanie, that diversity gives us strength. And that's what we believe in here at AIC. That diversity gives us strength.
Absolutely. So, one of the big concerns for families when it comes to affording college is the affordability. And it's always in the news about how prices are going up and how expensive it is. Can you tell me about the opportunity for academic and rugby scholarships at AIC?
hmm We do offer scholarships here at AIC. And so if you are someone that is concerned about the financial costs, if this is the correct fit, and again, we're talking about family, we're talking about academically, we're talking about culture. If if this is the right fit, then we're here to make sure that you know that you're supported. Okay. Every family is treated as an individual. There is no copy paste. There's no copy paste here, Mel. Everyone is treated as an individual. So family A might need a specific set of support or scaffolding, right? Family B might need a different look. It might be different. And that's not better or that's not worse. It's just different. And I want every family that we work with, I want every family to know that they are treated as individuals. They're treated for who they are. There is no copy paste here at AIC.
And it's worth mentioning that from the academic side of things, AIC is particularly generous in the academic scholarships, in that a lot of schools, once you get below the 3.0 mark, there really isn't a lot of scholarship money to be had. But AIC does offer academic scholarships or merit scholarships from, I think it was the 2.3 range on up. So it provides opportunities for people who might not be able to find them elsewhere as well.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think one of the things that we love at AIC within our community is about how we support how we provide that academic support, right? And again, I call it scaffolding, right? Sometimes it's not, we're bad at school. Sometimes it's genuinely, hey, I just need a different type of structure, right? And here at AIC, we're very flexible with what that structure can look like. Again, just like on the financial side, where everyone is treated individually, each family is individual, right? Everyone's individual academic support needs, those are different, right? It's not my job to tell you better or worse. It's my job to make sure that you have that support system and you know that we are absolutely here in an unwavering way. We are here to make sure that you are supported.
Beyond rugby, what do you think are the best things about AIC?
This probably sounds like advertising, but it is the people. The people make the place, and that's been true. I have a childcare background. I used to work in the education system in the school system. That has been true for as long as I've ever been a professional. Wherever I've done, whether that's in the school system or that's in the YMCA or that is here at AIC, the people make the place, right? Uh, and here at AIC, the people do make the place. The people that you surround yourself with, the type of community that we have, that's what makes us unique. That's what makes us special, right? You're more than welcome to go to a university that has, 30,000 students. I'm not going to tell you that's better or worse. I will just tell you that's simply not what we provide. This is a tight-knit family community. And if you've heard me talk about family on this call several times, Melanie, it's because it's who we are. It's a core piece of our environment. And if you want to be a part of a family, then that starts with connection. That starts with relationships. That starts with a home away from home.
So AIC is a relatively small college located in a relatively big place. What can you tell me about Springfield, Massachusetts, which is the community around AIC, as well as your proximity to other major cities?
Yeah. Um, Springfield is a great city. It probably has 150,000 people in it. So it's not overwhelming per se. And when you're on campus, I would call it a little secluded, right? You don't really know that you're in the middle of a city. You're kind of on campus in this little kind of oasis almost. We're pretty close to Boston, and then we're also pretty close to New York. So we're right in between Boston and New York City. And that allows our students on any, kind of free weekend, they pretty regularly head out to Boston. They pretty regularly go to New York City. And that's kind of a little excursion that they like to go on at times. But we have everything that we could possibly need. There are 5 hospitals in the immediate area. There are airports. There's one airport that's 20 minutes away from campus. That's an international airport. There's also Boston, which is Logan International Airport, which is very close as well. And then you also have the New York airports as well. And so we've got a lot of access, if you will, for international families as they are kind of discovering, is AIC a place that I would like to go to? Well, one of the things is AIC easy to get to, right? Are we in the middle of nowhere, or are we actually surrounded by a lot of support? And luckily, it's the latter.
And when it comes to rugby, it's you're not traveling 6 or 8 hours to get to every match. So it's part of your life, and but the travel isn't your life, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, one last question for you, and that is, are your goals for the upcoming season?
The goals for the upcoming season are to take another step towards a high performance environment with a family culture. I have said this. I've said this a lot this year, and I'm going to go on this interview and say this as well, which will get me in trouble. But our goal very clearly is to be the best attacking team in the country. We've got a very clear outline for that. We've got a clear 18-month plan for that. And when we come in the fall, that is the goal. The goal is to be the best attacking team in the country, while also shoring up our defense, and doing so with a group of people that genuinely go out on the field and enjoy playing with each other. And there are a lot of coaches, there are a lot of people in the US that'll just talk about, we want to win X, Y, and Z, or whatever that might be. And I could even sit here and talk about a high performance environment. All of that is mute, in my opinion, if you're not enjoying your time at AIC. If you're not enjoying the people that you're doing it with, then every point afterwards is mute. And so that's where we start. And so that's really what I want us to be. That's the direction that we're headed in. And this is the community that we are. And this is certainly the community that families will be interested in learning more about.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your program. I can't wait to watch what happens in the months to come, and look forward to wishing you lots of success and congratulating you on it.
Thanks so much, Melanie.